Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, we're just doing this on YouTube today. Hope everyone's having a good day so far. Let me pop that chat out. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at where the game's at. I think I decided to go filterless today. Or maybe I should actually put the filter on. Alright, filter's on. Okay, so let's take a look, see where that game's at. Wait. There we go. Let's get some of that music in there. There's a bug. There's a bug I need to fix that I had fixed at one point, but I'm gonna have to fix it again. Um, let's see. Where do we even begin? I don't know if I like this split setup, but I'm gonna try and do it so that y'all can kind of see the. Well, for one, so to reduce my need to have to hop around when I'm working with the terminal, and two, so we could actually see a visual of the compilation every single time that it actually compiles. Because every time I save, it's going to compile again. An example, we can introduce a bunch of cool bullshit. Like, I can just totally fuck up my code, right? Save. And we get big ass error right there, right? Which is really cool. And then when I save it back, it's gone. So, I like that. Very nice, tight feedback loop. Oh yeah, let me post that I'm live, and we'll really start getting rolling here. Let's see. Oh yeah, let me post them. I'm sure that people know already. All right. So check it out. What are we doing here today? Well, last few days I've been fucking around with Rust, and after people voted on some polls that I put on X and YouTube, I thank God that people have come to their senses, and that numbers differ in different contexts, right? Like, so if I start seeing more views on a video that's about Rust, or me working in Rust, but most of my views are coming from non-subscribed people, when I make a post asking people if they like C++ or Rust more, and more people are voting for C++ than Rust, it shows me that the people who aren't subscribed like Rust more, but the people who are subscribed and who actually are really the people that I'm really talking to, the ones who are following in the journey, who know the struggle, know what I've gone through, those are the people who are saying C++. And I appreciate that. And I thank God that y'all have come to your senses, that I have as well. Because getting from point A to point B in Rust will be a very long journey. And I am already so far into this journey, I don't want to waste my effort. You know? So let's get rolling here. Let's do something new today. Let's actually build some shit. So in a previous poll, I also asked people if they wanted to see like new NPCs or like what they wanted to see more of, like more dungeons, more NPCs, you know, etc. So in general, when I think of work on NPCs, I think of like all of the things that can be done to an NPC to kind of customize and just like the whole system of interacting with NPCs. So over in my other window here, I got my Ace Sprite. Wait, that's a totally different instance. I got two Ace Sprites open. Oh shit, I do. Okay, so here's a Sprite. I got this shit open. We can take a look, see at characters, right? So I'm already thinking, like, how do we actually go about handling towns and dungeons? You know, I don't want to have to build a whole bunch of new systems, and you know, whenever I do watch those Tim Kaine videos where he's like, you know, time is money, and you know, you gotta, and I'm like, man, this game is operating off a no budget, like straight up, virtually non-existent, like almost negative, like, you know, I'm pretty much paying out of pocket to make this game right now. So for anyone who actually does support the game, I do appreciate it, because, you know, getting one or two people to, you know, actually pay for it on itch, totally a win. Not gonna knock that stuff, but at the same time, it does, you know, this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And if I were to pick between like hacking and making games, I would much rather make games, honestly. You know, when I think about like which actually is more fun for me, you know, just in terms of skilling up and everything like that. Like, you know, I've talked about it lots before. It's like, yeah, I'm totally interested in hacking and liking doing that stuff. But, you know, I'm a lover, not a fighter. Although I like making games about fighting, apparently. But okay, so I was thinking about like town implementation, right? That's another thing too. And so that would be related to the NPC thing. And the whole idea is that it's great. We can attack enemies, we can kill them, we can do stuff. We can, you know, pick up loot off their bodies when they die. We can equip them with weapons, we can equip them with shields. All that's good. But wouldn't it be nice to be able to just talk to an NPC? Also, I really want to implement dragging bot. I know it's kind of weird to juxtapose these two ideas, but, or like to have them like one thought right after another. It's like, oh yeah, I'd like to be able to talk to NPCs as well as drag their dead bodies around. Oh, that's fucked up. Oh, that's why I like this shit though. It's like, Oh man. And at the moment, actually, and the funny thing about that is, it's easier at the moment for me to implement the ability to drag dead bodies around than it is to implement like talking to another NPC. Although you could do something really, 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 really ghetto in that you can attach a button press to a NPC so that if you trigger this event, like, you know, we write a function like try entity attack. So we would write like try entity talk to, right? And we could attach some sort of pre hard coded message to an NPC that triggers whenever that, you know, NPC receives a try talk to. In the near future, I'm going to have to actually implement like proper events because things are going to get complicated and we need to be able to step through from one event to another, because effectively it is really like when we're handling the animation, nothing's really happening to like other enemies at the moment. But like the animation state selection is always like after every step, it gets kind of like refreshed. So like if it has a pending, like if you set that a sprite gets damaged, and now we have to, instead of playing the idle animation for an NPC, we have to play the damage animation. I'm just thinking out loud here. Yeah, I mean, effectively, it's the same thing going either direction, whether it's the NPC's turn or the player's turn. So effectively, for, you know, event-based kind of systems where doing one thing might trigger more than one cascading kind of series of effects. That's also one of the reasons that I have the separate, like, all at once versus because all at once feels smoother. And actually, I'll show you what I mean by that. You know, just talking out loud here. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. I gotta show y'all. Alright, so NPCs all at once is a thing that basically says, like, every NPC takes its turn all at the same time. And this might actually have detrimental effects when it comes to rendering long potential queues of events that might occur on the result of an NPC doing something or a player doing something. Like, for instance, you push a box onto a switch that causes a thing to happen. And so, like, having everything render simultaneously could get really chaotic. But the problem with this style, if it still works, it should still work. I've been operating off the premise that this is going to be the primary basis of gameplay because I haven't run into any issues yet, but I wanted the ability to switch from one system to another because effectively the logic and the rules of everything underneath are still the same. The only difference is whether or not we render one entity at a time in terms of them taking their turn, or the player takes their turn and then every NPC's turn is calculated. So is that right? Huh. What? what? No, wait, what? Oh, I fucked that up. Damn. Huh? Which NPC is it? Here, let's set it up like something like that, right? Still pretty early. How y'all doing today? Let's rerun that. Whoa, that was more stuff than I wanted to show. Thankfully, nothing terribly bad. But damn, what the fuck? Oh yeah, so we got to update the date. NPC ID 0 has no dead components. Now, what's interesting about this? The only thing that I've done is remove a compilation flag, right? So if I wanted to kind of like because I think this was a problem with like how we were initially selecting where to begin iterating. Like, what's the first ID? Like next entity ID starts at 1. So actually, that's why. So handle NPC. Starts here, but entity turn starts at -1. Oh shit. Yeah, see? ID 0. But entity turn, right? Oh, it's being set to 0. That's why. You be set to 1. Is it not like recompiling? What the hell is going on here? Oh, that's why. Oh my fucking god. Why? Why? $32.98. Yeah, we're not using it. Alright, so we got this debug panel, right? Alright, so we got this debug panel, right, in the bottom right. Current turn is 27. As soon as I move, it's like rotating back down to 0. And then it's crashing right here on this assert. because obviously we skipped one in the beginning because it was causing problems when I was working with my my hash maps in the past. They didn't like index 0 because of divide by 0. So the problem is it shouldn't be. Well, for one, the statement is incorrect. This should actually in turn greater equal 1. Then we do that. Now, what's really stupid about this system is that it actually steps through every entity, even if they're not NPCs, which is why in the near future, I will probably start maintaining separate lists of like the IDs of like every NPC versus every item versus every other type of entity to make lookups faster and to like do stuff like that. Dude, for real. I mean, Jesus Christ. That woman has some shit on her face, right? Like, South Park did her pretty dirty. I thought that was pretty good. Like, making it so that she's, like, so far up Trump's ass that she doesn't, know. Oh, man, Nightbot, don't be lame. Damn, I can't believe Nightbot's that lame. Holy shit. Also, what's up, Load? How you doing on this early morning stream? I'm going to have to get some more coffee, but check us out. I'm on this new shit. Actually, it's not even just coffee. I'm on this Hong Kong style tea coffee or coffee tea. So what you do is you make half coffee and you make half tea. And you blend them together and then you add all your regular shit. It's fucking good. I like it. It's very powerful. Super caffeinated. Just the way I like it. 3 cups already. Holy God. I'm just at the end of my first one, bro. What the hell? You trying to beat me to... What time you get up, Tulpa? Goddamn. I got up at like 6 today. I was up pretty early. Although I did kind of lay in bed for like another hour. I gotta take time in the morning to like stretch and shit because my fucking back and all that stuff. But this bug is retarded and I'm gonna fix it. Okay, so it's compiled. Let's run this bitch. Okay, we're good. I think. No. We're stuck. Why is your name with numbers? And what's the meaning behind 3326? This is my game. This is Project RPG. I'll show you the real deal. Give me a second here. This part's a little bit bugged out. It's definitely CPU locked up at the moment. Okay, so let me add that flag back in. D's nuts in your mouth. Dash D. NPCs all at once. Okay, here we go. I'll yeah, I can move around again. Okay. See, this was kind of like a bigger stylistic discussion, right? Like, when handling events in a game, and when I'm moving around, like the player moves and then everybody else moves pretty much at the same time as the player, giving this appearance of all of the things happening all at the same time. But in reality, things aren't like that, right? Like, things kind of happen sequentially sometimes. But effectively, like from a logical perspective underneath the hood, all of the NPCs individually calculate and process their turn one after another. So the final result that gets animated is the result of having gone through and already calculated everybody's like turn action and what the results of that turn were. So I think when it comes to like emergent gameplay, when this kind of stuff starts to pop off a little bit more, it's gonna produce some interesting results. But this was like a stylistic thing, because if there's a lot of dudes on the screen or like in the current zone that you're in, you don't have to sit around waiting for everybody to take their fucking turn. That's gonna be fucking annoying. And you know, I didn't want to have to like speed things up, kind of like, you know, fast forward the gameplay. I'll think about it. Oh, you know what?
I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. Till I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking top beat. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top beat. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top beat. Motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top beat. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking top beat. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I am the motherfucking zombie. I need my motherfucking zombie. I need my motherfucking coffee. I need my motherfucking coffee. I need my motherfucking coffee. Yeah. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking zombie. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. Till I got my coffee, I'm the motherfucking zombie. I need my motherfucking coffee. Ain't not a person in the world who can stop me. The corporate world is the devil, I am godly. As long as I got my coffee.
All right, I got my motherfucking coffee. We can all relax. Why is fucking Nightbot keep shitting on you, man? I'm gonna bitch it out right fuck now. That's so lame. Hey, not an FBI. Dude, you're up early. Normally, you're like a night guy. What the hell are you doing up this early? Cool to see you. Man, no, chat moderation doesn't need to be that aggressive. Caps, you can type in caps all you fucking want. I don't give a shit. That's cool. You want to have symbols? I don't give a shit. You want emotes? I don't give a shit. You want links? No links. You can't post links here. Sorry. It's wait. See you when? I'm a lazy dude. I just start making a game of C++ because I'm scared. Do I just start making it? Links and caps. No, I mean, a link is a link. But I don't know how, you know, like most parsing things expect the HTTP and HTTPS to be lowercase. I don't think there's actually really many cases of like web links being in all caps. Although it's like most things that aren't web browsers probably parse it. And you know what? That's an interesting thing. Like, putting HTML in all caps, you know, like how would it handle that shit? It shouldn't handle that shit. That's kind of weird and wild to think about. The protocol actually being in caps. No C++ means in theory there must be C minus minus. Well, yeah, I mean, there have been implementations of effectively C minus minus, or basically like subsets of C that would be like reduced burden, and usually for like someone who's like doing compilers, like we actually did a compiler for a C minus minus type language when I took compiler writing when I was in college, which was almost 20 years ago. I actually was in college 20 years ago. Jesus Christ. I was taking compiler writing 20 years ago, almost 20 years. It would be 19 because I didn't take it until I was a senior. And I was a senior for 1 year. I was only in college for 4. Well, no, that's a lie. I actually was in college for 5 years because I took it for 4, walked the stage, and then I found out I didn't pass electromagnetics. So I had to retake it. And then I failed it again, and I had to retake it again. I'll tell you, electromagnetics, calculus-based, was really fucking difficult. It really depends on the context, but like for actually sending email, it's not case sensitive. That's an interesting point. Like if you were to actually like go in and send an email to like somebody in all caps, they'll receive it. Even if like for everything else in their daily life, they use the email in all lowercase. You know, that's like a really interesting kind of subtle thing to think about is I'm going to write this down. I'm stealing this fucking idea, man. I'm gonna go give a Black Hat DEF CON talk about capitalization. That's fucking crazy. That's an interesting, really interesting thing that you've kind of brought up just now. And I've been trying to make an effort to like keep localized daily blogs too, so that I can eventually like publish something, because I know y'all hang on to my every word, because I am the sensei of the dojo. Fed confirmed what? Because I want to give a talk. I mean, what is a Fed? Is a Fed someone who works for a federal agency or works for a federal contractor? Are they both Feds? Because I have worked for a federal contractor before. Does that make me a Fed? Or have been one in the past? I wasn't trying to be one. If so, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. I mean, you know, it's not my fault that God decided that he didn't want me to join the military, or that the military didn't want, you know, crippled, retard, gimp losers like myself to actually join up. But I think that, you know, they're missing out on something over here. They're lost for sure. I hope everyone's having a good day, man. We are peaking in chat. Like we are actually getting some serious views for how early in the stream it is and how little I've actually done so far. Oh yeah, so the idea that I'm stealing is capitalization in emails and HTML and web links as a topic of exploration. No, you can't join the army, dude. Like, I've tried. I tried years ago. You can't join. Like, or at least I can't join. I can't join because I have at least 4 separate disqualifying physical conditions that basically say, sorry, we don't want you. You have no place in our army. I actually talked to a recruiter something like when I was 23 or so, you know, bombed out of school, down on my luck, just trying to fucking find a way to get by. Decided to talk to one because I had never talked to one. I talked to one in a chat room, and they were like, yeah, sorry, nah, that's not gonna work. And I get it. You gotta be in peak physical condition. And even at my best health, I just can't compete or perform at the same like expected level as like regular people in many cases, which is why I'm so hard on people when it comes to code, because I know that like this shit isn't as hard as people make it out to be. What they raised the age to, that's crazy. That's actually crazy. My dad joined when he was like 18, 19, something like that. My cousin joined. Like, a lot of my family joined when they were 18, straight up. A lot of my friends, too. Many of my friends have been in the service for just as long as I've been out of college. You know, it's kind of funny you say that, because I actually have at least, I know of 2 people personally who work as drone maintenance, and they fucking hate it. Basically, drone maintenance is what they like shove everybody into now, because like they're doing so much with drones, and all the drones are like made with ghetto technology. So they're constantly breaking and they're constantly having to be repaired. So they have to have all these human like drone fixing people, and it's just like where they shove people when there's like no war to go to. It's like, oh, you're back home from the war, all right, time to fix roads. Oh, that sucks. You know, that's mega suckage in the job department. I mean, sure, steady paycheck and all that stuff, right? But like life fulfillment, absolutely zero. You know, it's like they hate it. They wish they would be doing anything else. I know a dude who's worked in the Air Force as drone maintenance, and he said he made more off of YouTube than he did in the Air Force. He actually didn't need to be in the Air Force anymore, but you know, he's collecting 2 paychecks. You know, one heavy duty, he's got like literally 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he's also, I hope he's quit. I hope that motherfucker quit the Air Force and is living his best life. He only posts like a video like once a month. He makes a killing off of Patreon and stuff, but he does some real interesting niche content. I'll have to introduce not an FBI to him sometime. I don't know if he would find it interesting to pay attention to a Zoomer. I'm pretty sure this guy would be a Zoomer. He's like at least 10 years younger than I am. Obama's favorite drone. That's a good question. I think Trump's got him beat now as far as drone strike killings. The only reason that Obama had more drone strike killings under him than any other president before him is because drones basically didn't exist before him. Like, drones were a pretty brand new technology. So you can't really, when people publish stories like that and like statistics and things, you know, like it's kind of like designed to be a sensationalist headline. Now that said, you know, more marijuana dispensaries were closed down under Obama too, as well, even though he campaigned on legalization. Which just goes to show you, you know, your president says one thing and then they do another. Par for the course, right? Like, that's just how it is. That's just how it be. What was I doing? Y'all got me so ass distracted. All right, Nightbot's updated. You should be able to spam all caps all you want. All caps all day. The only thing is blacklist or blacklisted words. But nothing's blacklisted at the moment. I just ask you not to abuse that. That's all. In about an hour 30, I will have to go. So I got plenty of time here. I will have to take my baby out in a little bit to go pee-pee. But other than that, let's do some fucking game dev, y'all. I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been ready to fuck. My suit's so tight. Y'all remember that? That Juggernaut meme from back in the day? That was some college shit for me. That was like dead ass 2006, 2007 internet. When did y'all get online? When I was online on dial-up, on America Online. I'm an old man in comparison to some of y'all. Some of y'all ain't. Some of y'all were born in the Ethernet. You were born on the fiber. You were born with your parents having fiber optic hookups and already like watching Netflix and shit. Back in my day, Netflix, you had to get your Netflix through the fucking mail. Through the snail mail. The paper ass USPS mail. That was some shit. I didn't have an account, but I had friends who did. And I always thought it was kind of cool. They could, rent movies through the mail. I was like, wow, that's so weird. That's so trippy. And then they had GameFly, and GameFly was kind of a similar service, and I never used that either. I was like, what the point? I used to rent games all the time, and I realized renting games is for suckers. Unless you're like constantly like able to like crush a new game in the time that you had the rental, it just didn't become worth it, because I'd rent a game and then I'd have to sink my entire weekend into playing video games. And it was so much better to own a game. And now look at me, I've got more games in my digital library than I'll ever be able to get around to playing. And I don't even care to, because I've got my own game to make. And I have to compete against every other game in existence, which is fine. It's not a problem. It's not anything I can't handle. See, this logic doesn't work in the moment. I'm not going to fucking deal with it, but it is something to consider, that the switch between so that's one of the things I have to take care of, but it's a smaller kind of thing. I was thinking about town every 10 floors. That was what I was talking about earlier. So people mentioned that they want to see more NPCs. And I think a good way to kind of like push things forward in this direction would be the ability to talk to an NPC. But first I'm going to implement dragging dead bodies. So we're going to do that first. But something interesting related to the crashing that was occurring before I added those small changes, which actually I do need to commit those. Help me out. I forgot what I was doing. Dragging dead bodies. Okay. So check it out. Here's how we do that. Let's go ahead and push. And then we'll check out a new branch. And we'll check out yet another new branch. And this new branch, we're going to call it dragging dead bodies. As far as I know, this is not something you can do in NetHack. And because the mechanism for how this is going to work is very similar to how pulling boxes works. So at the moment, we have the ability to both push and pull boxes, right? Pull, push. So we have a push pull, right? So there's a component called pullable, pushable and pullable. Pullable defined right here. Pushable, both of them are just booleans. So whenever you create an entity, it could have a pushable or pullable attached to it, possibly. However, I can see in the future a need to like verify certain things, because not every entity should be able to have certain components attached to it. As an example, there might be certain entities that like make no sense to be pullable, like for instance an invisible enemy generator that you can't interact with at all other than just like experience it creating things. That would make no sense for that to be pullable, right? So one of the things that we could do in the future is have like verification steps so that like I don't do something that retarded, like be able to create an entity that has like impossible components attached to it. Which editor is this, if you don't mind? NeoVim. Yeah. NeoVim. It's very basic. I have a custom configuration though. It's kind of tailored to like what I like to work with. I can show you a little bit of that real quick. I think I actually oh yeah. This is actually on GitHub. So you can actually pull down my NVim config. And if you know how to set up NeoVim, then you can run NeoVim with my config and replicate the same experience. In addition to having NeoVim, I've also got this thing with this thing called CLang format, which is it's integrated into my NeoVim setup. So I've got CLang D running in the background constantly. On save, CLang format auto formats my code. Blah blah blah. Game state. Okay, so here's where we actually create a box, right? And then we have an action that we can attempt on a pullable object. And so one of the things that we should do is handle... Yeah, thanks, you too. One of the things we need to do is handle being able to verify whether or not something is pullable when we actually try to pull it. So there's like no verification being done on something it's pullable or not. So that's an interesting thing to kind of notice. The audio code is going to need some serious updating. Super nasty. So it's actually doing all of this before we even check to see if something's pullable or not. So the hero ID instantiates a pull on whatever might be in front of him. Interesting. Why do we call it box ID 2? Oh, this is the box that might be behind you. Yeah, the logic for this needs some serious work. Okay. So one thought that I'm having is on death, should we make a NPC corpse pullable? So where does an NPC die? Okay, this is in cast spell. Let's do try entity attack. What type of game am I deving? I am making a roguelike. Here, I'll show you in a minute. Give me a few seconds. Looking for a particular part of the code. Okay, so right here, when we set a target ID to being dead, ct.set pullable. We're going to see how this works. Okay, so there's some bug there with what I just implemented. Clearly, I have to take a look at try entity pull in order to see exactly why it's failing here. But realistically, what try entity pull should do is loop through every. So at the moment, actually, you know why it's not working? Because it's looking for a box. What's the best max empty lines to keep? I'm going to do 4. Because then I could do like 2, 3, 4. And that's a lot of space. And I kind of like having a lot of space in order to like help, break up big chunks of code. Helps me kind of focus. Yeah, I'm making a roguelike. I think later on today I'll head to the store. Let's see. Okay, so simply simply doing this kind of thing. It was not enough to simply set it to pullable. The reason that didn't work because over in try entity pull, we're actually looking for a box ID too, as opposed to like a generic ID or a generic pullable. So what we should do is instead of having a tile has box, we need a tile has pullable, right? So I'm going to use this as the basis. Pretty sure I don't have this already. Yeah, we do not, but we do have a pushable. So we can actually do it right here. So we're going to use this as the basis. So now we have tile has pullable, right? Why did I do it like this? Okay, that's a little bit better. What game engine am I using? For graphics, I'm using raylib, and for the actual game itself, I'm making my own engine. It's always a weird question, what game engine, because I never know if anyone's talking like about, more often than not, people I think are talking about like graphics, but at the same time, I think there's this shared assumption that you have to be like using something like Godot or Unity or Unreal or whatever. But in raylib being kind of like, it's like when I think of engines, I really think of libraries, because I don't like using those big clunky tools to begin with. I like to do everything in pure code. So whatever engine you call pure code, or writing, you know, like your own environment or like everything, because there's a lot of code here and I've written it all myself, except for raylib. Raylib, the guy who made raylib is fucking awesome. The community's amazing. I can't begin to speak more highly about it. So pullable, right? Like, is it pullable? So let's step through this. Tile has pullable. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Another way we could write this, if ID equals invalid, continue. I heard this chick on Twitter or Twitch earlier. So some game dev or some you know, e-thought personality trying to learn some scripting stuff. And I know I shouldn't shit on noobs, but she had like 60 viewers at the time, right? And they're watching her struggle with some basic bash like tutorial thing. And she was having trouble with the concept of an if statement inside of a loop. And I'm like, yo, baby, this is some shit that you're going to see every day. Get used to it. You'll get over that hump. I don't remember who it was, but I don't think it matters. It reminded me of like being in college and waiting outside of like my calculus class. and the previous class got out. It was like college algebra or like remedial algebra or remedial math for like adults or some shit. Some kid be coming out of there. I'm all balls deep into integrals and double integrals and triple integrals and Cal 3 shit. And these dudes coming out of the class, I heard them talking to themselves and they're like, yo, fractions are so difficult. I was just like blown away at the time. Thinking to myself, wow, you know, like some people really don't get it. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's still like people wonder why society's failing, and I'm like, you know, the signs have been rubbed in our face like so much piss to a, you know, a dog that peed on its owner's floor, and you have an abusive owner and it's trying to shove the dog's face in the pee to let it know what it did. That's kind of what it seems like it's happening with society right now, is that, you know, God is taking our face and rubbing it in the pee. This is kind of what it seems like, right? You know, that's why everything's so expensive. That's why life's so hard. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, you did this because you didn't think ahead. Because you couldn't do math. Now your society is fucked. Or something like that, right? So do we have any pullable objects? Let's get back to something happier, like pulling dead bodies around. Let's see. So instead of here, where we go to check to see a tile is box, we check to see a tile is pullable. So that way it'll, you know, like all we really do is step through every single entity on the tile and check to see if any one of them is pullable, and the first pullable one that we come to. Yeah. I almost want to write like a get unsafe. It would be kind of interesting to like syntactically just see how this feels. So like it would be kind of nice to like do the unwrap like instantaneously like this. Or maybe like you get like for unsafe get. Or, you know. And actually, it technically wouldn't be unsafe. We could, like, pre-populate the get. Like, we could call it new get, right? And do something like that. Syntactically, that's kind of, like, less annoying than having to write, like, value or all the time. But also, it's like, you sometimes you want to check to see if it just has the option to begin with. Okay, so now I expect dead body pulling to work. Oh, I'm almost dead already. Okay, it's still not working. I need to add some debug data. Oh, you must be a troll. You must be a troll. Okay, I'm gonna keep talking. Anyway, that's one of my favorite things that Asmongold says. And so anyway. Okay, so I need some like visual feedback, right? So I moved the game window over to the side so we can actually add some debug panel stuff to the terminal, right? So we need and we want to know like where it's failing, right? So at some point we will be able to just do like success down here. Okay, so where it says OK in the terminal, I'm gonna actually turn music off. I mean, I just, you know, I'm trying to be as least. I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm really not. But as you see me working here, as you watch me on this video, does this look like Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio or VS Studio? Does it look like that? And if the answer is yes, then I'm going to say you're retarded. And if the answer is no, then the next question I would ask is, why would you ask that question if you can clearly see that it's not Visual Studio? You know, just don't waste my time, dude. You say genuine question, just don't fuck with me. You know, I've been fucked with a lot. Don't fuck with me. I mean, if you have eyes and ears and you're capable of using them, and you know, it's the kind of thing my dad used to say. It's like, you know, God gave you eyes, use them. So how about you use your fucking eyes and try not to ask any dumbass questions. And I'll try not to be an asshole. All right? But if you give me an in, I'm probably going to take it. And so if you ask some dumbass shit, if this were a classroom, I'd do the same thing. This would absolutely be how I run a classroom environment. All right. It's like, a teacher's trying to teach a lesson, and then a student asks a question that would have been like easily answerable if the student was actually paying attention. That's kind of how it feels. But I don't suppose many of you would even know that, because none of y'all have ever taught anything. So there's that too. You might say, "Oh, you've never taught it. You've never been a teacher." Like, all right, what's the teacher? What is it? What does it mean to teach? It's conference of knowledge. It's transfer of point A to point B. So if I can get something through to you that you were previously not aware of, such as the fact that if you were looking at the screen right now, you could see that this is not Visual Studio. And further, someone just asked, even in the chat, it's even present in my chat still, what editor is this, if you don't mind? And if you were here for that previously, which you may not have been, that's fine. I can't expect people to show up in the middle of the stream and have to go back into the stream in order to get the answer to a question that might have already been asked. Like, what editor is this? That's not the point. If you've used Visual Studio yourself, so the only time that I can see this as a valid question is if you never used Visual Studio and you were just asking just because. But I'm not sure where that would be prompted from, because there's no evidence that this has anything to do with Visual Studio. So why would you ask if it was made with Visual Studio? I just don't get it. If you knew how I felt about Visual Studio, you wouldn't ask that question. You must not have known. I can't fault you for that. But I just ask people not to fuck with me, and not to try and take anything that takes away from my productivity when I'm in the middle of working on stuff. Like asking what I'm working on, that's fine. Asking what editor I'm using, that's fine. But attempting to troll me with questions about whether or not it's Visual Studio Code when I have a video up showing someone getting curb stomped on because I dislike Visual Studio Code that much. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe you knew and now you're pretending not to know. See, I can't be sure of that. But now you know, and I've taught you something valuable. Don't go into people's streams and just ask random dumbass questions. Period. Well, now you know how I feel. And if you don't, then you're a fucking idiot. So, I don't give a shit what you think. I don't know who the fuck you are, and I don't really care about that kind of shit right now. All right. See how every further comment you make, how about you just zip it, and I'll try not to shit on you too hard, or more than I've already done. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to work here, man. The title says visual. See, now you got me fucked up, man. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to hide you and remove your chats and put you in timeout. All right. So how about that? Because it's really distracting. And I'm not trying to get distracted. I'm trying to actually work here. I don't mind chatting with people. I don't mind being distracted in a way that's contributory towards my progress. But you're obviously not doing that, and you don't know how to interact with people that, are trying to work on stream. I got problems, man. You don't want to fuck with me. I'm crazy. I'm trying not to waste my momentum here. Pushing and pulling, right? Dead bodies. For some reason, Tile is pullable is not coming back. Oh, I got 2 commas. Whoops. There we go. Hey, hey, hey. Although it's interestingly iterated the animation to the beginning frame for that entity, which is really interesting. Oh, that's so cool, man. All right, all we got to do is fix the animation now. Okay, animation. Gotta say, we got some good viewership today. I really do appreciate y'all joining up. This is the most that we've had in a while. Lots of likes, lots of views. Yeah, if you haven't liked the stream, please do so. I would appreciate that. And of course, the game is a work in progress and free to play for now. You can go to evildojo.itch.io/project Project RPG. And you too can join in on the beta testing or the alpha testing and the development of this game as we go. Really like the feedback from everybody. Really like the encouragement that I've gotten over the last few years. Really does mean a lot to me. Very excited to push this project forward. Animation. Okay, so dragging dead bodies works, but where do we want to actually do the bug fix? Are we going to do it here in this repo, like right here, right now? I think this will be the last thing I have time for. What an awful looking nasty function. Holy jeez. Oh. Current. I'm gonna have to piss in a few minutes. That's okay, I'm with it. I gotta piss in a few minutes. Yeah, I'm with it. Pull down the pants, then I whip it. Gotta take a piss, that's how I'm feeling. Piss in my pants, that's how I'm living. If you were a good guy, then I'm the villain. Just hang back, relax, I'm chilling. Working so hard every day, I'm killing. These if statements are janky as fuck. This whole update section needs a heavy upgrade as well. Though this is not where the bug is actually occurring. Oh, you know why it's... I think I have an idea. Current frame. So no matter what sprite it is, if it's got, I mean, if it's animating, it does this stuff. Stop on last frame is specifically for when enemies die, right? So in set SG, I'm gonna have to take a break soon. Set SG 119. Okay. Okay. Setting up hot water for coffee. Just took a piss. I think I found where the bug's at. got some more coffee tea on the way. One of the last things I'm doing here. I think I found the bug. So when is set contexts called, right? It's called here at the end of update sprite context. So we don't want to do this if the sprite is set to stop animating. Okay. Coffee. Ready. So whenever we set context, this generally only happens on an update. So if do update, we update the context, right? And the context is like what direction it's facing. So like if you change direction, sprite gets set to update, the trigger to the update gets called. And if the sprite wasn't animating, then the reason that the bug that we were seeing was occurring is because of the call to group set context. So whenever we go through a sprite or an entity's sprite group, we go through for every single one of its sprites and we update its context so that we only have to do this once per update. That way we don't have to like do it every single time that we like change to a different sprite. We just set them all, and then when the player changes or when the character changes direction again, we'll do it a second time or however many times we need to. So if it's animating, then this makes sense. But if the entity dies and is animating gets set to false, then updating current frame would also cause the sprite to change, and that's why all of a sudden the sprite gets set to the beginning frame instead of staying on the last frame. So let's see if this works. This should be the last thing I have time for today, but it should be also, even though it's a really subtle bug, a very good improvement on a brand new system that, while you can't do anything really cool with dead bodies yet other than just have fun dragging them around, eventually the point is like, I want to have switches on the floor that can activate things like doors and other things. So what if you step on a switch and it opens a door, but then you step off the switch and it closes the door? What if you had a dead body that you could drag onto a switch? Also, I want to have alters very similar to how they work in NetHack, where you can drag it, or you can put a dead body in your inventory and then take it to an altar and then put the dead body on the altar and sacrifice it to a deity. And I want a similar system in my game too. I think that would be fucking cool. I know y'all would too. Alright, so let's test it. All right, we have killed a dead body. And he is staying in the correct animation. Oh, yeah, that's so good. Oh, fuck. Wow, I got full screen this for y'all. This is fucking cool. This is a great way to finish off the stream. Fuck yes. Look at that. We now have the ability to drag not only boxes, but dead bodies too. So if there's, some space behind you and you want to drag a dead body, you just face it and you press space. So there's multiple inspirations for this. So the pull mechanic came from an idea where, with traditional Sokoban, you can only push boxes, right? But in my version, you can push and pull, which I hope to do something cool with this. And I can already see lots of different little cool things that we'll be able to do with dead bodies. As an example, when the game gets more fleshed out, I want some kind of Metal Gear Solid sneak type mechanics where enemies can keep track of like what's currently visible to them. They'd be able to see when a dead body is there, if it shouldn't be there, react to dead bodies. I think Tim Kaine calls some of these things player or character NPC reactions. And this is another reason that we're going to need to actually kind of build out a real proper event system, because try entity move, try entity pull, all that stuff really needs to be worked into a system where the action gets queued up, and then as each event processes, any sort of resulting things that might happen as a result. So as an example, instead of hard coding in, try entity attack, we because that would only handle just that, and then we would have to like handle all of the possible things that could happen off of that, when instead it would make a lot of sense to, like, as an example, like casting a fire spell on a door and then the door catching fire. Those are two separate events, and we don't have to hard code in the door catching fire to every single instance of anything fire related, right? It would make a lot more sense to have resulting things add or throw events into the queue that get processed in sequence. So that's one thing that is coming down the pipeline. There's a lot of really annoying nitty gritty type shit that I'm going to have to do in order to really push this thing forward. I should look forward to it, if only for not having an immediate solution to all of these problems. But I feel like getting events really properly sorted will be a really big encouraging thing. Not to mention, obviously you have to come back to the dungeon and stuff like that, or to the floors. But this is a good sandbox. This is actually pretty good, and we have the ability to script out, more complicated dungeons and things like this. So I'm not too worried about that aspect, and I might even take a stab at like handcrafting a few of these dungeons myself, or these floors myself, just to have something a little bit more concrete and less buggy in play. I think people like to play that too as well. Get inside the mind of someone rather than actually play through like some totally procedurally generated thing that doesn't have any like love or care crafted to it yet. Can love be communicated through a procedural algorithm? I hope so. But it is time to go. Fuck. Let's go ahead and check in this code. Okay. New build is up, y'all. Everything that you've seen me do today is live, and you can go play it. Of course, the date is incorrect on this screenshot, so please ignore that. But this game is a work in progress and free to play for now. You can go to evildojo.itch.io/projectrpg to play what is currently available. The date in this screenshot says February 10th, and version 0068. We're actually at February 11th and 0069. So just keep that in mind. Here's another screenshot for you. And so, with that said, I hope everyone has a lovely rest of your day. I'm not exactly sure what the next steps are going to be, or what the exact perfect thing to work on next would be. But working out the event system, getting some of the more nitty-gritty things down will probably be really important. So you might catch me back on after lunch to work on some of this. Well, I thank everyone for joining. We had a very good turnout today, like really good. Super happy about that. Can't really thank y'all enough for joining. So, do me a favor, have a great rest of your day, and like the stream, subscribe, play the game more importantly. And until next time, everyone. Evil Dojo signing off.